experience the full power of the dark side. Good!
We will deal with your rebel friends soon enough.
What the? Ah! Misa back!
Prepare to fire!
Oh no!
Hello and welcome back to Star Wars Beyond the Stars for episode number 15, recorded on Thursday, December 11th, 2014. I'm your host Fred, aka Sith Lord Corv. And joining me tonight is my recently nerfed pal, Agent Olan.
And how correct you would be. No, I'm kidding, folks. Thank you for that kind intro. Hello, everyone. Hello, Twitch. Hello, YouTube. Greetings from Imperial Intelligence.
I used to be a hybrid.
I used to be a pure spec. And I'm still a pure spec.
And equally nerfed. Hello, Paige, aka Captain Kimbray.
What are you talking about? I'm not nerfed.
Yeah, you are.
No.
Between Treek and ID10T, all your equipment's been wrecked.
You know what? You guys nerf me. I'm too good for this. I'm just kidding. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here.
You can find out more about the show at StarWarsBeyond.com. We're available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and at SWTORNetwork.com. You can like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/StarWarsBeyondPodcast. And you can tweet the show at StarWarsBeyond. We record the show live Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/NoSHTGaming, which we will be getting back to our Monday record time soon, TM. Thanksgiving threw a wrench in the plans and got behind on some editing, but we are working adamantly to get back on track. So, Paige, what's coming up in the Captain's Log tonight?
Coming up in the Captain's Log, we have our current impressions, thoughts, and ideas about Shadows of Revan. We also have Agent Olan's intelligence report. Lou will present Rishi, the planet, not the people. Plus, the weekly winner of the Agent Star Wars Trivia Question of the Week, and your feedback in our community holo feed.
Rishi, the planet.
We'll get there. We'll get to that.
That's exactly how BioWare would list that title.
But we do have something quick to mention. Actually, a couple of things to mention. Today, well, actually, December 11th, on the website, it is the 3rd anniversary promotion. Right? And this is coming straight from BioWare. Quote, help us celebrate 3 years of Star Wars The Old Republic. For a limited time, move into Coruscant and Dromund strongholds for only 3 credits. Normally 5,000 credits. Plus, get free decoration rewards. Visit the Strongholds and Crew Skills area of the Republic or Imperial Fleet to get your rewards. Which again, starting December 2nd, you can get your very own Coruscant and Dromund strongholds for only 3 credits each. Then, beginning December 16th, get free decoration rewards, including spectacular fireworks displays, decorative anniversary paintings, a special holographic projector of the entire galaxy, and more. Hurry! Get your celebratory items by Monday, January 12th, 2015 to help us make this a year to remember. Thank you for a great 3 years, and may the Force be with you.
I really hope that that holographic projector isn't the same thing that's the galaxy map on your ship.
Yeah, I would expect something more, a little bit bigger, more panoramic.
It's like a little box that shines up on the ceiling.
Yeah, that would really not impress me.
Those are for sale, by the way. You can
Really?
see this. Yeah, really. It's one of those things I've thought about adding to the recommendations of the week, but I just never got around to it.
Oh, I thought you meant in the game to like put in your stronghold. I'm
Oh,
like, that's
no,
a thing.
no. I meant like a real life thing. It's like, you insert the light into the little contraption, and when you turn the lights off, it shines the Star Wars galaxy around your room and on your ceiling.
Yeah, I mean, for that kind of... Oh, hopefully I haven't seen it yet, though, but, I'm picturing something the size of the holo communicator you have on your ship. All right, something that big. Not your intercom, the actual holo communicator. It's in the middle of the floor on your ship.
Oh, yeah,
Something that big. And you have a huge panoramic of the galaxy.
When you say that, when you play the Jedi Knight, I think it is, on the character selection screen, you could see your holo terminal back there, and there is like a projection of planets or something on the holo terminal in the background.
Yeah. I mean, that yeah,
I'm
you're
not
right.
saying, am I? Like, that's a thing.
No, it's there. I mean, or if you spoiler alert, if you play the Forged Alliance's flashpoints, and when you're in the labs in Manon, they do have holographic displays. I think one of them is caffeine, or is it coffee? For the chemical diagram they show, I think it's coffee.
Which, real quick, by the way, since we're talking about character select, you know how they fixed that bug where it was zoomed out, where you were getting like an outside view of your ship almost?
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed that since they fixed that, now when you like log out of the game and go to character select, like your first character, the camera is like not lined up where it's supposed to be, and you click on another character and like it suddenly like jumps up, and then you click back and...
Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Normally, when that happens, like the first character that's displayed, it's as if the camera moved down.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
like...
no, sorry, no. Yeah, you actually moved down. Like the camera actually moved up a little bit, and you moved down. So now, instead of being at your waist level, now it's just about your chest level.
Yeah, it's like from your lapel up, like a school photo. Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
BioWare and their partial fixes.
You're like, hey, quit complaining. At least you can see your own face now.
And then the second thing we want to bring up, the community live stream with Towley. And this is from Hillary Nicole, the community members, SWTOR. Hey everyone, here is more information regarding our special stream on Friday. When? Friday, December 12th, 2014, at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. Where? At twitch.tv/SWTOR. Who? Towley. And what? Watch as Towley takes on Revan in the new Star Wars The Old Republic digital expansion, Shadow of Revan. The new expansion, just launched this week, delivers 5 new levels of BioWare cinematic storytelling where players will face and fight the legendary Revan, formerly of KOTOR fame. In this stream, we will check out the new solo story missions, how it feels to fight with awesome level 60 gear, and explore the cool new worlds you'll uncover in the expansion, Rishi, a pirate haven, and the jungles of Yavin 4. Thanks, Hillary. And as of today, there was a change that she added. Some adjustments since this post was made. Towley will be streaming on his own, but we will be in our own channel, hosting him and answering questions that players may have. Thanks, Hillary Nicole.
It makes me wonder, though, if BioWare canceled David Demery being there, or if Towley basically said that he just wanted to stream on his own.
True.
Because they really don't give any specifics on that. And it would seem really kind of crappy to cancel on him at the last minute like that.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah.
We'll have to see how strong their support is in the stream for him.
Right. I mean, depending, I think they're going to be answering the way it sounds like they'll be answering questions only in their stream, not in his. So.
Yeah, and see, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why do they do these streams in the middle of the day during a weekday when people are at work?
Yeah, unless they're just really counting on people, tuning in after on YouTube or in the archive portion of Twitch.
Well, they're touting that they're going to be there to answer questions.
Right.
I mean, you can't ask questions if you're watching it hours after it was recorded.
Yeah, and quite honestly, it's like how much of the player base are you actually going to reach at 1 p.m. Central? I mean, for us, at least for me, that's 2 p.m.
Which I'll be at work.
Right. I'd be on. Yeah, we'd all be at work or on duty. Whatever. We'd all be doing our real life stuff. for any time zone in the United States at least. West Coast, Central Mountain Time.
It's 11 a.m. They're at work.
Yeah, they're at work or at school or whatever. And unless, if you're a European player or an Oceanic player, you know what? That's great. It fits into your time frame. It's actually prime time for you.
Oh, we got to force Maury to be there. We got to give Maury our questions and tell him what to ask.
For our European fans, to them it's at least 6 p.m. their time, 7 p.m. their time. Say the Oceanic players, I guess it's prime time for them too.
Yeah, that is true. Mad Mark could probably be there.
Yeah, I hope he does. I hope he does show up and starts firing away some questions there.
You hear that?
Lord Fluffy Duck. Get us information.
Looking at you, Otini Cast.
So then, with that, I'm going to go ahead and move into the Captain's Log, where tonight we're actually not going to be talking about our last weekend game, because that's kind of going to be incorporated into our discussion, and we wanted to allow as much time as possible for the discussion. Where tonight we're going to be talking about Shadows of Revan, and we have several bullet points, and we're going to go down them one by one and cover each topic until we've had our fill of it. So first up on docket in the Captain's Log, they added some new stuff to the cartel market. And what was that, Lou?
Well, they introduced two things. The first one being the pale Sith eyes. So what happens, I guess you get that pale, what do you call it, yellowish-white type of
they look kind of like maroon, but really faded maroon.
Mm-hmm.
If you're changing your font color or something, it looks like that really palish red color right before you get to the pink.
Mm-hmm. And that's what you get. That's one of the new things they introduced in the control market. And then the second thing they introduced, actually two parts, two new hairstyles, one of which is the pompadour. And by pompadour, if the first reaction you get is the Elvis look, then you would not be too far off from that, folks. All right. And then the next one is pigtails for women. And we're talking, I guess, high placement pigtails because they're actually near the top of the head.
I think Paige would debate with you if they're for women or not.
Yeah, I got opinions on this. First, I just want to say I like the pale Sith eyes. I think they're very nice. They contrast the skin of the Sith purebloods pretty nicely. As far as hairstyles, the pompadour or elvish hairstyle, ridiculous to me. I don't think anyone wears their hair like that, even if this is a galaxy far, far away. No one would do that. Not anyone in their right mind. As for the pigtails, I find pigtails on grown women to be disgusting. I think it infantilizes women. You don't see a grown woman anywhere in any galaxy walking around with pigtails. It's just ridiculous to me. They look like little girls, and they're not.
You might now. When they add a new planet, you could see, who knows, maybe when we get to Yavin 4, maybe you'll see a whole bunch of female NPCs running around with pigtails.
And I won't approve of that either.
This is where she practices her lightsaber discipline, and she's like, I'm gonna lop those off. Watch the control. Watch this.
Well, Lou, as somebody that plays a lot of female characters, but isn't a female in real life, are you going to buy the pigtails, and are you going to use them?
Well, I probably, one of my characters will probably get that, and it's a character that you and Paige will never see.
That's a good thing.
Just because, it's just to try things out, see how it goes. And as for the pompadour, I don't know, but I'm fully expecting to see sooner or later on the fleet or somewhere on a planet somewhere, if I'm questing or doing dailies, I'll see someone who's come close enough to the 70s Elvis, back when he's in his Vegas act with the white rhinestone suit with that hair, with the microphone, singing Jailhouse Rock.
Well, the pompadour thing I kind of get, because Star Wars, if you're looking at episodes 4, 5, and 6, people have really old school haircuts, because that's back when those movies were made.
Mm-hmm.
So even in SWTOR, you can literally make a character that has Luke Skywalker's haircut. You can make a character that has Han Solo's haircut.
I actually have a screenshot of a guy who named his character Luke Skywalker, and he looks like Luke Skywalker as much as you can in the game. I'll upload that to our Facebook. I need
He's
to.
even wearing his robes from
He is.
episode 6.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's serious.
They really went for the look and completion.
Nice. Now, if he only had access to the... well, I'm trying to remember which saber hilt actually has the sound that his saber makes in Return of the Jedi. The hilt activation. Because I know, all the hilts don't all sound the same. I forgot which one actually sounds just like his, that they actually took from Return of the Jedi and made it. Oh. Well, one of these days I'll remember, and I'll link it, but... Yeah, those... those haircuts, that's cool, that's great and all, but... I don't know. I mean, I look at Theron Shan, and he's got that, alfalfa type haircut going. It's all slicked and spiky towards the middle.
That's because he's been sleeping on the ground and hasn't fixed his hair.
Yeah, it could be true. It's like, she's like, hey, man, just comb your hair.
Filthy Republic.
This is why Lana just stays away from you.
She looks like she's been sleeping on her face on some rocks.
Oh, here we go.
She kind of reminds me of... Have you ever seen Kablam? I know this is, old school. If you've ever seen it, I'm sure you'll remember it. It was, this crappy little thing on Nickelodeon or something that had these, naked action figures and stuff. It was terrible. But they had this character on there called Meltman, who was, this generic soldier figure that they melted the hell out of this guy with a magnifying glass, and he's just looking disfigured all the time. And I figured that was the inspiration for Lana Beniko. If you look up Meltman, you can't even distinguish his facial features because he's melted so badly. I figured to make that, they actually put a little generic G.I. Joe thing in the microwave for 10 minutes.
Well, I actually like to think that, Lana's model's just incomplete, or devs just put something together really quick and say, all right, that's her. What about their business?
They really could have just used the in-game character creation tools and made a better-looking female character.
I mean, when I watch the cutscenes, especially, on my, my female characters, like my agent, or even on my Marauder, and just to see the difference, wait a minute, Paige, when you look at the scene too, and you look at your avatar's face, your face actually looks believable. All right, it's smooth, it's contoured, it actually makes sense. As opposed to when you look at Lana's model, it's what happened?
I kind of wonder if maybe she's not human. Maybe everybody's just assuming she's human, but if you notice, she has yellow eyes.
Maybe she's
bright
just
yellow.
Maybe she's just Sithy all the time. Okay, she's got the Sithy eyes all the time, like that.
I don't know.
She's a special kind of evil.
Lana's hair, Theron's hair, those would have been cool to end up in the cartel market. I hope to God that they never give us Lana's face as a
as a customization.
Thing. Look, I can say as a girl, and I'm not really big into hair and stuff. I don't know a lot of things. Raised by men, but there were a lot of other options they could have used, and I hope that we do see more options come in the cartel market, and some that aren't ridiculous. I mean, even if it's Lana's greasy looking hair or Theron's, nasty product ridden mane, as long as it's something else, because I won't be doing the pigtail thing or the pompadour. Just no.
Theron got Bill O'Reilly hair.
Oh, God.
Lana's hair wouldn't look bad on another female, though. Just Lana herself looks bad.
I don't know. It's really stringy looking hair. It hasn't been brushed.
Well, what about Shea Vizsla's hair?
I liked her hair. I think that would have been a nice option.
Lou, what did you think about Shea Vizsla when we actually encountered her face to face?
Well, when we first encountered, I actually was glad that they brought her back. I guess it's a nice tie-in. They brought Revan back, obviously Shadow Revan. And then for the longest time, playing the game in the past couple of years, you don't really see these characters that, or a lot of these characters that you see in the trailers. You especially see it was the first time we really see Shea Vizsla. The very first trailer, Deceived. All right, when you first see her help infiltrate the Jedi Temple and take out all the troops, helping the Jedi guard the temple while everyone's away. And you see her in action. And then again, what do we see? We see her again in the Hope trailer when she's assisting the Imperial Army take over Alderaan. For a few seconds anyway, because she just disappears from the rest of the trailer. But pretty much you're introduced to the fact that she is, a real badass Mandalorian. She's right there with Malgus, at the forefront, and just cleaning house with everything.
No, she's not there with Malgus, because if she was with Malgus, when we threw her down the pit, she would have used her jetpack to come back up.
Right. But that's a whole different story on its own. But I'm really, like I said, I'm glad they brought her back. And they brought her back in a meaningful way that you actually get to interact with her and talk to her. And to me, that was very exciting to actually see that character brought to life, so to speak.
No,
I mean, we've seen Malgus, we've interacted with Malgus during the course of the game. You see him. Same thing with Satele Shan, and now we get to see Shea Vizsla actually in there, in your face. You get to talk to her, and I thought it was pretty cool. I like that.
Lou, maybe Malgus is still alive. Maybe when we threw him down that pit, at the bottom, Lana Beniko was down there, and he landed on her face and survived.
Well, remember the last time we found Malgus? Remember we realized that, wait a minute, we didn't throw him down the core. He actually died where he was. He died where he stood.
But that could have been a bug.
Yeah, that's true.
Nothing ever works like it's supposed to. It's hard to know what the canonical ending to that Flashpoint is.
Are we supposed to throw him down the power shaft, or we just kill him on the spot?
Yeah, so he landed on Lana Beniko's face, and now he has a cybernetic rear, and he comes back.
Well, you could explain it just like Clone Wars animated series, Obi-Wan cuts Maul in half, yet somehow mysteriously during the latter half of Clone Wars, wow, he's back together again. Literally, he's back together again. He's the Star Wars Humpty Dumpty. Somehow someone put him back together again.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just saying, dude, as badass as they made Darth Malgus seem, it's kind of lame that he just fell down a pit and died.
Well,
I can't believe that's the end of him. I think he's going to be coming back eventually.
And you know what? I think it would be a nice tie-in as well, but going back to Shea Vizsla, that since she had worked for him before, okay, maybe there's a point to, there's a way for them to tie back into, even though if you haven't played the game up to that point, where Malgus betrays the Empire, tries to form his own version of it, maybe it's a version of the Empire that Shea Vizsla would openly support, I mean, she worked for them before. She's worked for the Empire before, or more correctly, she's worked for Malgus before.
Or better yet, Lou, how about Revan actually succeeds in his plan? He brings the Emperor back in spirit, and Malgus just happens to be there and absorbs the Emperor.
That'd be an interesting fight.
Or he just comes back and becomes the Emperor for real.
That's true. He just takes over his Malgus' body, becomes the Emperor again.
Because
the body.
I gotta be honest, I'm not liking this direction that we're going. We're the Empire, but we don't need an Emperor.
Well,
we need the big bad that's leading us to be in charge.
Well, see,
I can be that big bad.
See, and there you go. I mean, that was one of the things I was going to mention. The fact that the big bad hasn't been leading at all for several centuries. Hence why the Dark Council has become so prominent.
Well, something needs to happen because we need something to offset all of the government bodies that the Republic has.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have one unified voice of the Empire because the Dark Council can't agree on anything.
Right, and that's the thing that the Emperor needs to be. He needs to be around. I mean, when you look at the Codex entries, the reason why the Dark Council exists is that they can take care of the day-to-day stuff, while the Emperor just gives them the actual guidance and vision that he has. But what happened? For 3-4 centuries, he hasn't been around, so the Dark Council has been left to do what they want. And of course, what happens? with the Sith, they devolve into their own petty little squabbles, their own little power plays, and that's why they always freaking lose.
Well, that doesn't make sense, though. He had to have been around sooner than that, because when you do the Sith Warrior story and you're on Korriban, Darth Barris tells you that he's going to Dromund Kaas to meet with the Emperor.
Right, but the thing is, he's not there as often as he used to. Right, to the point where the Dark Council actually they pretty much have free reign running the Empire. The Emperor's not around telling him, hey, Darth Barris, what are you doing? Hey, you need to stop that. Or telling Darth Maul, keep doing that. Or telling the other Darths, hey, back off, or no, you keep doing what you got to do. They're missing that essential guidance from him.
That is true. At the very least, they should have had a voice of the Emperor sitting in on Dromund Kaas to speak to you more often as a player character. Right. Because you really feel the absence of the Emperor when you're playing through any other class story.
Exactly. And the thing is, too, like they need, the voice the Emperor needs to be there first and foremost, along with the voice and definitely the wrath. Because what's one thing that inspires fear in the other Sith is the fact, the Emperor's wrath right there. He or she can just cut down anything in front of her, in front of them. So
I would have liked it better if they wouldn't have gone the direction that they went with the wrath thing, and they would have actually had a new person rise to be the wrath, and that was actually the person leading the Empire in the Emperor's absence. Instead of, Darth Maul, which I don't know how he's in charge, because it doesn't seem to me like the other Dark Council members would just be, okay, yeah, you be in charge. Seems like they would all be fighting to command the Empire right now.
And I'm sure they are. I mean, that's probably a story arc we'll do later on. And then, maybe that's something that Shay, and her clan will support if they bring her back into the storyline, because she leads her own clan now, so they're not for hire, so she says. But
man,
who knows?
Screw that. I think what we need to do, we need to find some way to infuse Darth Maul with more evil energy and let him be the new Emperor.
I say do a slash feedback, let Bioware know that idea.
Yeah, I really like Darth Maul.
Yeah.
He's a cool character.
And he's a cool character, and again, if we go back to Shay Vizsla, have we ever seen her armor in game in terms of availability, in terms of being crafted, or
I believe
cartel packs?
Her armor drops in a flashpoint.
Oh, the entire set, or just certain pieces? All right.
I'm not remembering it specifically, but if it's there's at least armor that is that type you can get in flashpoints.
Okay.
I can't remember the exact colors and stuff right now off the top of my head.
Yeah, I was going to ask next if maybe her particular color scheme and arrangement, like there are some details that are on hers that you won't get, but it's close enough,
Yeah. I mean, you could get that really shiny Mandalorian type armor.
Yeah, which is the next thing I'll do with my bounty hunter, but that's for a later show.
Okay, so moving on to the new discipline system. You have any thoughts on the new system, Lou, and how it works?
Well, right now, since this is only, less than 2 weeks into it, and as of now, I've only touched 4 of my characters that really needed to, my 4 55s. All right, I've actually worked on my operative, my marauder, my sorcerer, and my bounty hunter so far. Okay, and when they introduced it last week, all right, on the 2nd of December, most of my game time, I should say, for a couple of days after that, was just looking everything over again. Even though I watched the live streams, but now actually seeing it live and it's in the game, I actually took the time to carefully read, again, all the descriptions, and then trying to match back, or close to it as I could, from my original specs from the old skill tree system. All right. One thing I will say that with the discipline system, it's definitely good in the fact that it's streamlined everything. Okay, we went from 3 skill trees, now we're just down to just the disciplines and then the utility points, utilities on on the right side of that screen, of that window when you pop it up. Okay, so it's for a lot of folks. I guess it's definitely easier to read. All right, the descriptions are there. Okay, yeah, they may look small, but you know what? It's very precise. You know, it does exactly this is what the skill does. What more do you want? Okay, this is what this does. And again, when you first pop it up, if you have a character that's affected by it, obviously you're going to be presented with the 3 disciplines that are available to you. And again, one of the things I do like with that window that comes up is that, you know, they do show you, okay, this is medicine, like the operative, the Imperial Agent, the operative. You know, this is medicine. Okay, this is lethality. This is concealment. All right. This is what's available to you, and they even give you the preview. I mean, you can inspect it, just like in other MMOs. You can actually inspect the entire tree itself and look at it. You know, get a sneak peek, see what it's like, look ahead, and judge as to what you want. You know, does this actually match my playstyle? Does it not match my playstyle? You know, do I want to try something else? So that's one thing I do like with the discipline system.
One thing that they actually improved with the discipline system, you need the trainer to change which discipline path you're actually using, but you can change your utilities anytime you're out of combat.
Yes, which is very handy. You can have it fit the situation you're in, which is nice.
I really haven't noticed a difference in any of my characters. Now, granted, I play an assassin. Not a lot changed there. You know, got some new abilities, got maybe 1 or 2 things taken away from me. Didn't really use them in the first place, so it didn't really matter. As far as my operative, you know, I was like, oh yeah, you got nerfed so hard. I really don't feel it that much. Maybe I'm not healing for as much, but I'm still doing my job. I'm still doing it pretty good. I still PvP on her and don't have that many issues, so I don't know. I feel like the discipline system was effective in that way, but I mean, it's not that much different.
Well, operative, I'm happy because they finally gave us an area effect heal.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that bugs me that they took away from my operative was orbital strike. Because I just really...
Luke could go on a whole tangent about this, too.
We've been on several tangents already.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that was a signature move for the agent. Not the operative, not the sniper, for the base class, which is the agent. Okay, I mean, what do we see in the original class trailer for the agent? All right, what do we see them calling? We see them calling an orbital strike. You know, there are many different opinions out there flying about, you know, losing orbital strike, you know, keeping it, whatever. You know what? I don't care if I never use it on Flashpoint. I use it for soloing. I use it for questing. It was a very handy tool, which I worked into my rotation because we don't have a lot of AoE text to begin with. And it's nice to be able to use that and clear out trash or assist in taking out strongs. All right, it just makes the fight go a lot faster and makes questing a lot easier.
I would say the better path that they should have taken with this orbital strike situation is the argument that David Demery used on the live stream was that it didn't seem right for a character that was up there meleeing and stabbing to call in an orbital strike. Which, if that's the case, they should have just done what they did for a bunch of other classes and give the concealment tree, the only one that's up there stabbing, give them a replacement skill for orbital strike. That is something that would make sense to happen in melee range.
Well, how about this? And, you know, I think this is a better solution even. In situations where you have an ability like with the bounty hunter using death from above, you can't use it on top of yourself. You have to
you can
push it out a certain... Oh, you can now?
They just changed that.
Well, see, I haven't been on my bounty hunter, so I didn't know that. Now, how much sense does that make then? I mean, you're up in the air, but...
Well, actually,
that
makes a lot more sense. Because, like, on Trooper with, like, mortar volley, what was to say you couldn't just aim the gun right in front of you and start launching that stuff?
Whatever.
I mean, I know realistically you would take some of that damage. Doesn't mean you couldn't do it, though.
But, you know, to use the argument, oh, characters that are up there stabbing wouldn't call in an orbital strike. Guess what? I'm an operative. I'm not up there stabbing. I'm standing in the back healing, going, oh my god, please don't see me healing you. Or healing your enemies, rather.
Oh, see, now you took it from a different perception that I did myself, because when he said that, I was just thinking, okay, well, if I'm up here stabbing somebody, I'm just going to keep stabbing and dealing damage myself. I wouldn't be trying to call in for ranged support.
Mm-hmm.
But you took it as an agent wouldn't call in an orbital strike when they're standing in the area it's going to be striking. Which, actually, that would make a lot of sense, too.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be standing there going, you know where a really good idea to drop bombs is? On my head.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, if you go by that same logic that they use for taking it away, the argument on the forums going around is, okay, so then why do the Scoundrel and Operative still not have a knockback like the Sage and Sorcerer do?
I don't think that every class needs to have every single ability, or else there's no point in having multiple classes. That seems to be the direction that we're moving. We're slowly, every class is getting kind of the same ability the other classes have. Or to the point where I could see like 2 or 3 expansions down the road. Doesn't matter what healer you choose to play, they all have the same kind of abilities. Doesn't matter what range DPS you pick, they can all do kind of the same thing, but with aesthetic differences.
Right, and that's exactly it. I mean, it's just aesthetic differences because the way the game is arranged, we're all supposed to be mirror classes of each other.
Oh, yeah, but that's with your mirror. But I'm saying, like, the way the game is slowly moving, in a couple expansions, I could see the Operative healing in the exact same ways that the Sorcerer does. I mean, all that has to happen is, like, next expansion, they take away... Well, they don't take away your dot, but they give you some type of a shield you could cast on other people. Put your little shield probe on other people.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen, because that's one of the things I don't like about other MMOs.
Well, I would like to have a 600 energy pool instead of 110 or 100, as like my Sorcerer has a 600 force pool. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
For parity's sake. Like, hey, you know what? How come these two classes get that huge force pool, and yet, alright, so energy, I only get this?
Hey, I'll tell you too, man, like, even though they're mirror classes, the Trooper seems to get ammo way faster than a Bounty Hunter drains heat.
Yes. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Having played both, yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel that difference.
I don't know if it's just in my mind or it just seems that way, because on one, you're trying to fill a bar up, and the other one, you're trying to drain it.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't feel like that's 100% balanced.
But but going back, to what we were talking about with the discipline system, it does make choosing your path, choosing what you want, a little bit easier. Okay, I mean, I could see it from a new player's perspective if I hadn't played MMOs before, and seeing the initial design that was in the game in the first place, right? The skill tree system, going, what the hell what am I doing? I've got 3 trees, 3 areas to choose skills in. What do I do?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that can be daunting. All right, and the thing is too is like you have to make the game not only fun and appealing to veterans and to keeping your current player, your current player base. You also have to make it appealing and friendly to new players that they want to, so they come back and they stay.
Well, see, that's one thing too. Like, I'm glad that the 12 times XP was over before the discipline system came into the game, because now I feel like a bunch of those classes that I hadn't really played before 12 times XP, I feel like I need to level them up again to learn how to play them in the new system, because I didn't have a lot of experience playing them before. Now I feel like I'm back to ground zero with some of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm enjoying leveling up new characters with the discipline system, so I think that increased the longevity of making alts in this game, too. Okay, so then coupled in with the discipline system, well, about a week later, they removed all training costs from the game. And as a side effect of that, anybody that was in the first week of early access and trained abilities spent up to $36,000 per ability to do their training, and BioWare's official stance is nobody will be receiving any type of compensation for this.
I think it's extremely stupid that, I know this kind of goes with what we were talking about before, but it kind of goes with both, that I had abilities as an inquisitor and an assassin stripped from me that I had already bought and then paid for again, and then it's, given out for free. That irritates me to a degree. I've had things happen to me like that in other games before where something, was either extremely discounted or it ended up being free altogether. And it is irritating when you already own something to have it taken away and then having to buy it again. Because it seems like they took away things they shouldn't have taken away at all. Things that I had that really, there was no need for it to be messed with. Like, yeah, they may have adjusted the damage on it or the, cooldown or the cast time or whatever. But to take the ability away from me completely, was that really necessary? And I guess the excuse is they don't have the technology to just leave my ability where it is on the bar and not make me pay for it again?
Well, more and more we're finding out their technology seems to be extremely lacking because they're actually using the excuse that they don't have the technology to do certain things now. Well,
I think it's just absolutely ridiculous that abilities I already paid for, I had to pay for again. Now, am I mad, that mad about it? No. Because it's like missing a sale at your favorite store. It happens.
I just can't believe that they didn't have the foresight to know that was going to happen and just make training costs free for, the first 2 weeks of the expansion.
I guess that my gripe is you did some of your customers wrong. Not all of them, but some of them, and they're upset about it, and your official stance is, oh, well. I mean, you should be like, oh, my bad, guys. Here's whatever. You don't have to give us money. You don't need to give me money. You really don't need to give me anything. Some people want something back for this. And if you were to go into a store with the same situation, I mean, they'd do something for you just because it's a customer service-oriented business.
Well, actually, you're onto something there because, some of us go through the experience of brand new game comes out on Steam. You pay $60, $70 for that game, and then 2 weeks later, Steam has it on sale 50% off. You don't get anything because other people are paying less for it. I mean, it's kind of the same situation, only in this case, you went from paying 100% to the other people are paying nothing.
Well, I mean, that's not even true now. I'm not going to try to plug any stores, but there are stores now where if you purchase things from them and within a certain time period, if the price goes down or they find the price somewhere else to be cheaper, they build up credit for you on a gift card and then give you the gift card.
Yeah. All right, other games I've played, other modes that I've played, okay, where the game developers themselves introduce a massive paradigm shift to the classes. All right, what they've tended to do in the past is that they'll recognize what they're doing and they'll take the hit, so to speak. They'll tell the player base, yes, we're the ones who are changing the game fundamentally. All right, we're the ones changing the way your classes work. So here's what we're going to do. Okay? When you get back into the game, after that major update is done, you get your stuff back for free. All right, training costs are non-existent or they're at a ridiculously cheap price that a level 1 player could afford. Okay, I've had that done in EverQuest 1, EverQuest 2, Dark Age of Camelot. Okay, I can go on and on where the devs have said, yes, we're the ones forcing this change, or we're the ones updating the game. We realize the impact we're having. So, just to make sure you guys are all taken care of, for X amount of time, training costs will be negated, or they'll be at a severe discount for this time frame. All right, and they'll post that everywhere. It'll be in the game, whatever. You'll see it on the forums. So in case you're that thick-headed and you miss it, then it's your fault. Because, it's like saying you pass that billboard twice a day. All right, it's a billboard the size of a football field. How did you not know what it says? Okay, and I think that would have been, I'm not going to complain. Training costs going forever? Hey, that's fine. I'll take it. But I think they could have gone another route saying, hey, you know what? We know we're introducing hell, it's called, what is it, a class overhaul with 3.0. For the next 3 weeks, for the next month, training costs are gone.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm going to say, oh, no, I don't want training to be free forever. But at the same time, I have that old EverQuest player mentality where I'm like, well, wait a minute, I had to pay to train this stuff. Everybody should have to pay. That's the old school mentality. I had to walk uphill to do this. Everybody should have to walk up that same hill. You shouldn't make a shortcut.
But when they changed the way those skills worked, you got it back, and they didn't charge you for it. But they gave it back to you with its new name, with its new abilities, and everything. Here, remember what they've written on the forums says, if they changed or touched any of your abilities, whether it was a name, or if they moved it to another part of a tree, or removed it altogether, they were going to charge you for it.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, and I'm not saying that EverQuest did that differently. I'm just saying the player-based reaction in EverQuest was anytime they made anything easier, the players cried out against it because they wanted all the new people to go through the same things they had to go through to get where they are.
I don't like comparing SWTOR and World of Warcraft, but that's where I came from. And, one of the things that Blizzard did is they did an overhaul similar where they took away the trees and they didn't give you what they called a discipline system, but it was similar where they had limited the amount of points that you had, where you could put them, what your abilities were, that sort of thing. But at no point did, I come across a situation like this. And if Blizzard took an ability of mine and they nerfed it or they boosted it or they changed its name because whatever, I never had to buy it again. Even if I had to respend my points, I didn't have to buy that ability again. They gave it to me. I bought it the first time. I shouldn't have had to buy it again.
Well, that's the way that this should have been handled.
Well, truly my only gripe, it's not about the money to me. I don't care about that. My only gripe is the customer service. You don't screw part of your player base and then just go, sorry about your luck, suck it up, buttercup.
Especially when it's the people that like your game enough that they pre-ordered it.
Yeah, well.
Right. It's just a questionable move, and I think they really should just take the time and say, yeah, look, we made it. It was a mistake on our part. All right. Part of our solution is from this point forward, everyone's free training costs now from this point forward, and for those players who were affected by early access and having to pay, amounts of credits to buy their skills. All right. I think what a lot of the player base too has to remember is that not everyone plays the same. All right. Not everyone has the same time to play the game. All right. Because you've seen, I've read arguments from both sides of the spectrum where players are crying, I don't have enough money, and other players say, well, what are you talking about? You should have plenty of money. Well, you know what? Maybe I don't have 4 hours to play a day.
Well, okay. The biggest point that I saw or heard brought up on other shows was that if you got to level 60 with the way training was, the amount of credits you needed to train your level 60 abilities was actually more money than a free-to-play player could have. Like, it was higher than their cap.
Right. So then what do those players do? If you're a free-to-play preferred status, what do you train 1 or 2 abilities at a time and then, again, do dailies, run dailies?
It would be more than that. You probably would have to... You'd have to get to your credit cap no more than twice, but either way, that's a massive pain.
Right. I mean, granted, from another point of view, it could be seen as a slight inconvenience. All right, a couple of days worth of dailies, but then again, that's pretty much all you're doing. All right, because then you how do you go out with half your skill set missing?
And I would also point out that when the free-to-play system came into this game, the level cap was 50. It's about time that they revisit the system and consider increasing the credit cap for free-to-play players, because they need more credits than they ever needed before.
Right, or in this case, with the training costs, if the training costs were still in the game, other games like, for example, Lord of the Rings Online, Star Trek Online, they allow the player base to access their online stores, their cash shops, and buy tokens to permanently raise either a character or their account's limit for whatever monetary system they use, whether it's gold and Lotro or energy credits in Star Trek Online. All right, you have the player base. You give them that option. Hey, you know what? Yes, we know you're free to play. You prefer whatever the secondary status is. But the point is, they gave those players that option. Hey, you know what? Spend $5 here for this token, or $10, whatever, for the service, and all your characters from now on can have, 30,000 gold each. Your captain in Star Trek Online, they can all have, 1 billion credits.
That would be an interesting topic for us to actually visit at some point when we hit a slow news week cycle. Maybe we should look at the free-to-play system and consider how they should revamp it to make it make more sense and make it better for players.
Right, because, the danger with that, too, is I can understand why the credit cap is in place. It's to stop, the farmers. Now, where does BioWare intend to put credit sinks in? Do they increase our repair costs?
No, I think we have enough credit sinks with that cartel market and the prices players sell things for. Because let's be honest, they don't have anything in this game that is taking out nearly as many credits as are regenerated. And that's just going to be the case, because the people that work the cartel market, they're sitting on millions upon millions upon millions of credits. And they're not going to spend them. Anytime they put something in here to be a credit sink, it just takes all the money away from the people that don't have all the credits. So BioWare just needs to ease off with the credit sinks and just let the economy do its thing, because that's what it's doing anyway.
Right.
I mean, you could add in... I mean, look, they added in guild capital ships that cost 50 million credits, and people bought them on day one.
Yeah, pretty much.
There were guilds out there that one person literally bought the entire guild capital ship out of their own bank account.
Mm-hmm.
That tells you how many credits are out there in the economy. Because, yeah, I mean, a lot of us are scraping by. I mean, there's times when across all my characters I don't even have 1 million credits if I add them all up. But conversely, there's other people that have over 100 million credits on their account. But that's the thing. I can literally get by without having millions of credits on my account. The only time it becomes a hindrance is when I see something cool cosmetically on the cartel market that I want to buy.
Right.
And then those same people that have millions upon millions of credits are selling it for like 5 million credits. So then I go out, I do dailies and grind, and then eventually I get the 5 million credits. And then it immediately goes from me into that other person's pocket. Because that seems to be when I'm motivated to do dailies, is when there's something that I want.
Jeez, I hope you don't start shopping like that in real life.
I kind of already do.
Yeah, but in the end, but to go back to the training costs, now they're gone. All right, it's done.
All right.
I know in terms of for the player base that's still on the forum, still harping about it, good or bad, it doesn't matter. It's done, and I don't think BioWare will reverse it anytime soon.
They need to quit beating that tauntaun. It's been dead for a while now.
Yeah.
All right. So far, community's been responding very positively toward the expansion. I mean, they have their minor gripes. There's bugs in it, but there's bugs in every patch that BioWare ever puts out for this game. They fix them eventually. And then they break them again down the road, and then they fix them again, and then they break them, and then they fix them. But, yeah, we've been playing this game long enough to know how this works.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we're going to move into the actual meat of the expansion. Now, fairly quickly, what are your opinions of the graphics that we've seen so far on Rishi?
Very quickly, my opinion, everything is 1,000 times smoother. It's more lucid. There's, a lot of ambience in the background. Some of the people that you have cutscenes with, not your character, but the people that you're speaking with, the movements in their face are much more realistic, much more sentient-like. There's an individual that I spoke with, the way his eyebrows moved. I mean, you see it every day in real people, but when you see it in a game, you notice it because you're like, wow, look at his face moving. Because, I came from Warcraft where faces didn't really move that much. To see their faces moving like that, like a real person would if they were talking to you, it's like, wow, nice. And I just think everything is very nice. The cutscenes are nice. Even when you're not in a cutscene, when you're walking around town, everything looks great.
And Lou?
Yeah, my thoughts exactly. I mean, I really enjoy what they've done with the graphics with the latest game update. I mean, even the introductory cutscenes, all right? You haven't seen it before, spoiler? When your ship, whatever character you're on, you first obtain the quest and you're in space.
No, I haven't seen this yet.
Yeah. When you actually are on your ship and you see your ship and approaching Rishi itself, I mean, my God, it's a beautiful scene.
Well, I really didn't see that, and neither did Paige because it bugged out for us.
Yeah, it did.
But I'll see it on my next playthrough. That's one of the things they're fixing.
Okay, then I'll move on to Rishi itself. All right, seeing Rishi itself. Okay, the first area. It's like when I first saw Manon. Okay, with the way they did Manon, it's very crisp, very clean in terms of how it all looks. And I really hope one day that with the way they've been able Rishi to look, okay, and other places like Manon had to make it look that good. I really wish at one point later on, and once all the major stuff is fixed, they're able to go back, and just retouch the older zones to look as good, to update their look.
SWTOR 4.0 Galactic Cataclysm.
Right. I mean, again, it's not something I want done, now, but it's something I think they should definitely keep in the back burner and say, hey, you know what, we have time. I really think we should update the look of all the zones.
You get it, Lou? Galactic Cataclysm.
Exactly. I mean, when I look at Stormer going, yeah, I never liked that castle anyway.
And then we get a whole bunch of the crappiest graphic in the entire game being lava all over the place and fire. even on planets where it makes no sense, like Manon, there's just a bunch of lava.
Yeah. Why is there lava in a water world? But that's a whole different story, folks. But yes, in the end, the graphics that they've introduced so far look a lot better. Okay, and quite honestly, they've raised the bar in my eyes. So it's like, hey, Byra, I know you can do it. You've shown us what you can do with the engine here. Now I expect no less from this point forward.
And that's exactly right.
And speaking of that bar, what do you think about them raising or lowering the bar by side quests not having cutscenes anymore?
I'll take this one. I don't like it. I think it breaks immersion. I think that it strips too many things from the players, like not being able to get social points, not being able to gain or lose affection with your companions who are just standing there. They're like, who's this guy? You're like, I don't know. Let's click on him. And granted, the people that you're speaking to do give you a custom little sentence where when you right-click on them, they may say, well, yes, I really want you to do whatever in that place over there, but there's no cutscene. Your character doesn't get to respond to them. I'm sorry, but as my assassin, a member of the Dark Council, and a Dark Side Darth, if someone I don't know is just like, hey, I need you to do this, I'm like, excuse me, who are you and why should I work with you? And never mind that I just cut your head off with my lightsaber. I mean, yeah, I don't like it. I guess it's been compared to the whole mission terminal thing. Mission terminals, I feel like, are different. It's almost like walking up to a bulletin board and going, what could I do? But to walk up to a person and to not have that interaction with them. I mean, it's not a person, it's an NPC, but it kind of, I don't want to say dehumanized because not all players are humans, but that's the only way I can think to say it. It kind of dehumanizes the experience. I like being able to respond to these people and to have my character express herself, to continue to be dark side and amusing, in my opinion. It takes that away from me. And, if I'm in a group with you guys and I walk up and I accept a quest, I walk away. I mean, I don't get to see what you guys would have said either.
Well, I'll elaborate on that a little bit more and say I don't like it. I could understand why they would do that for dailies, and that would make sense to do that for dailies exclusively. But when you're on lower level planets, sometimes the side quests are just as epic as the main quest. Sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like Andromeda, the Revanite story is amazing.
And it's kind of why you're here now.
Yeah, and the cutscenes are great. And you remember those NPCs you interact with. Like Ladra.
You know what? That is completely true. You do remember the people because you've interacted with them. I can tell you right now, if any of those people I accepted quests from who didn't actually have a cutscene with me, I'd have no idea who they were or where they were in the world. If you told me, yeah, go find Jim, he's the guy who told you to go look at that rock, I'd be like, oh, Jim who?
Well, just like if you mentioned that, like, oh, that guy that told you to go look at that rock. Oh, somebody told me to go look at a rock. I can't remember what I was even told to do. I just went to where it was marked on the map and went and did what I was supposed to do over there. I can't remember the quest, and I can't remember the people that gave them to me.
True. I mean, that's like me using the billboard as an example. I mean, if you walk up to a billboard and you're looking for a job, you see something that catches your eye, you go, okay, well, someone really, really, really wants me to see if I can find some droid parts. I'm going to go do that. Well, you can't remember exactly what that little ad said, who signed their name at the bottom, whatever. But if I speak to someone desperate and upset that they've lost parts of their droid, really help me. Oh my goodness, I'm interested in them. Not really interested, but with that interaction, they're memorable.
Yeah, you're engaged and you remember what they wanted from you because you heard them ask you.
It's almost like watching a movie versus glancing at some stereo instructions. You're gonna be like, well, I'm just gonna figure it out. I'm gonna go to where the quest marker is on my map and click on the shiny thing.
See, I play the game with subtitles on, and it's kind of like karaoke mode. As they're speaking to me, I'm reading the words on the bottom of the screen. When you throw a giant wall of text at me, I'm too lazy to read that.
No, I use subtitles as well, and the reason I use them is because sometimes, like when we're in Skype, I keep the volume of my game turned down. I read what they're saying, I move on. Sometimes in situations where I've been on this planet 3 times in the past, week because I'm leveling too many characters, if I do spacebar, it's because I'm reading faster than they're speaking. That's if I spacebar. So, I mean, the reading isn't a problem for me, but you retain more information when you hear and see and read it. You're not only interacting, so you're getting that stimulation, but hearing it and reading it, it makes it stick with you more than, someone handing you a piece of paper. It's like, here you go, do this. Excuse me, is this a honey-do list? Do I know you?
All valid points.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why they wanted to maybe not have cutscenes for the side missions, the side quests. However, my major gripe with that is what is one of the major facets touted about this game? Okay, even in the latest trailer, latest ad for Shadow Revan, your cinematic storytelling experience.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, kind of misleading when you actually go to the point. Spoiler, folks. Okay, the only cinematic experience you get is the main storyline. Okay, there are a bunch of side missions and side quests that accompany Shadow Revan that basically, they would have been just better served just putting a damn mission terminal in different places in the world, and it would have served its purpose. Because that's exactly what you get. Okay, the only thing missing is the fact that, the dailies that you can unlock now in Rishi, you have to go find the NPCs as opposed to, you got to find the one terminal to give you 5 missions. A weekly and a heroic. That's all it's missing. Now, instead of that, you just have to find 5 different NPCs through the world. And to me, that's kind of cheapening the experience because, from 1 to 55, what did we get? We were given a cinematic exchange, whether it's for our main storyline, for our class quest storylines, all right? Or even the smallest side mission, whether it was on Korriban, Tython, Dromund Kaas, Coruscant, Balmora, Taris. Everything warranted its own cutscene because they wanted you to feel immersed into the Star Wars universe. Here, with Shadow Revan, you just go to a marker on the map, you find the NPC, a little triangle in the head, right-click on them, you get a text box. That's it. Yes, they do say a couple of sentences that gives you the gist of the quest they want to give you, but that's it. Okay, you know what? Instead of just me wasting my time zipping from place to place, just give me one mission terminal and call it a day.
I mean,
and a mission drop box. Yeah, and why not? Because that's essentially the same thing.
Exactly.
We don't have to go back to the NPC anymore. We do it for a couple of them, but for most of them, you don't have to go back anymore. It's automatically given to you. Just press accept. It goes in your inventory.
Mm-hmm. And I think you're right. I think it does cheapen it because even in cutscenes where your character didn't speak, at least the other person was talking to you. You could walk up to someone to turn in a quest and they'd be like, oh yeah, thanks for gathering that thing for me. Here's your reward. Your character would accept the reward. The cutscene would end. So I feel like these new quests that are being offered without cutscenes is just laziness on their part, because even with minimal interaction in the old world, there were still cutscenes for everything except mission terminals. I feel like mission terminals are only appropriate for dailies and PvP. Everything else should have a cutscene, because that's one of the reasons I don't like other games and one of the reasons I do like this game, because I feel like I'm there. And when I get to choose how I respond to someone, that's me. Rather than reading and just clicking accept, well, I wouldn't accept, hey, go find my droid parts without giving you a little lip about it first. How'd you lose your droid, loser?
Now, to be fair, the cutscenes that they did include so far on Rishi are way better than the cutscenes in the vanilla game and on Rise of the Huckar Hotel. But I would almost rather have the old quality of cutscenes than not have them for all the quests.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, I could agree with that as well. I mean, if it's a question of, that kind of level of quality that SOR presents, okay, you know what? That's fine. You're offering those types of dailies for us. Cool. Bump it back a little. That's fine. But again, don't take away, at least to me, an integral part of the SWTOR experience, which is a cinematic storytelling game.
And
it doesn't matter if you've seen it 50,000 times, spacebarring through it. It's still a part of the game. That's one of the main facets of the game.
It's something that you said earlier too, Lou, was that with the new graphics and the new cutscenes being as amazing as they are, I expect to see that everywhere else now. And the fact that you gave me a little bit of it, but you didn't put it everywhere, it's irritating. You did such a good job with the main storyline's cutscenes. I want to see them everywhere else. I expect that out of you now. And it feels like laziness to me. And I don't appreciate a lazy game. That's one of the reasons I left World of Warcraft. It became a lazy game.
I like how they actually tied the flashpoints into the story, though, for Rishi.
Mm-hmm.
I can appreciate that. I can. Do we want to talk about then how flashpoints can be done individually now? Just the once personal phases, maybe?
Yeah, why don't you talk a little bit about personal phases?
All right. Personal phases, they're accessible to you and your group, but if you walk into a personal phase, it belongs to you. And it's the same as if someone joined you in your class story phase. They can't progress their character inside your phase, even when you're on the same quest. So if I walk in, Fred can join me, even though we're on the same thing. Once I complete that, he doesn't have the option to speak. He can't roll on anything. A lot of times he doesn't even show up in my cutscene. I can go in alone, or I can bring a friend. Either way, though, you do have to complete them separately in your own phase. That's personal phases in a nutshell. Thoughts on that? Who likes it? Who hates it? I don't like it myself.
I actually do like it.
I like it and I don't like it. I don't know.
Well, my reason for liking it is, you and I, we just recently played through McKeb together. I went light side, you went dark side. And there were certain times when a roll would come up that was light side, dark side, and I really wanted to see how it would go if I went with the light side option. And you won the roll, and it effed up my whole story.
Yeah. I can appreciate that. That's one of the reasons I do like it, because I'd like to know how things would go my way and how things would go your way. But part of the problem is with our combination of characters that we're talking about specifically right now, that we're taking through the expansion, your operative healer and my assassin DPS, there are times when I need your help and you need my help because the companion isn't enough. Maybe they're not geared enough, or we just don't know what we're doing. I don't know. But there are times when I need to maybe go into your phase, and it sucks to go in there to help you and then have the story spoiled for me when I'm going to have to turn around, go right back in, kill all the same mobs, do all the exact same thing to have my own cutscene where I make the decision. That's frustrating because I have to do double the work, or you might have to do double the work, and either way, one of us is getting the story spoiled.
Well, it's almost like we're leveling up together and we're both playing the same class.
In a way, but neither of us knows what's going to happen. It's different when I've made it to the end of a story and I can be like, yeah, I can join you in, your phase because I already know what's going to happen. I don't like that. Going in there, not knowing what's going to happen, seeing you roll. And, of course, I wonder what's going to happen differently when I roll. But I already know what the exchange is like, what mobs are where, where the items are. There's no newness in it for me. I feel like I'm doing the quest twice. Where I lost the rolls the first time, even though I didn't get to roll. I mean, that happens. Sometimes you're with someone and they win every roll.
Huh. Well, Lou, what did you think about personal phases?
As of right now, I mean, I don't see a need for them. I don't like them as they stand because, just like you said, it's just like the class quests. Okay? I mean, class quests we can't do anything about. Okay? Yeah, we're allowed same access, but guess what? If you're all on Tython, you're all on Korriban, you're all on Horde Mantell or Hutta, okay, one of you, two of you, three of you are going to have to run back out, do it all over again. Run back out, do it all over again. All right? And to me, that takes away from the group experience. Okay, you want to move groups along. You want to keep them going, to enjoy, not having to go back out. All right, you know what? Yeah, we're both Jedi Knights. All right, who wants to go first? All right, you go first. You take control of the story area. Okay.
Now it's my turn.
Hang on.
Let's do it all over again.
All right, you break. That's always been my issue with even the class stories. Okay, they put that artificial break into the flow of time. It's like they could have made it to where, they have written quests to where the outcome, is neutral, or you won't, your decisions won't be affected or won't be shown till later on, till you're in your own area, or it's instanced just to you. Okay, I mean, I understand why they did it because maybe only one person's on the quest and no one wants to break up. They just want to run in there anyway and just do it and just see it. But by the same token, okay, if 4 people are on the same quest, one person gets to run it. All right, yeah, fine. You join your own phase. That's one thing they can do. You create your own phase. All right, and I think that's what happens is that players, will have to create their own phase and just go in there. But the thing is, you were in a group though.
Well, I think one easy way that they could have fixed this is if they would have made it so. I don't know if they could do a phase within a phase, but if they could, it would be nice if you go into a group phase, you fight through all the mobs you have to fight through, and then you go into a little tiny personal phase just for the cutscene.
Or, here's the thing, don't make there be any fighting inside a phase. If you go into a gigantic building together, phaseless, no phase, you go into a gigantic building together, you kill what you need to kill, you click what you need to click, and then as you go to the cutscene, you then join a phase where you're the only one that gets to say anything. But then, again, that's one of those situations where social points get stripped from you because your group's not really there. Even if I'm in a phase with you, I don't progress, so that strips social points. And, companion affection, again, one of the issues there.
I mean, let's be honest, I think BioWare has all but given up on the social system. You don't see them adding any more social gear into the game anymore.
That's a story for a different day. I mean, I do like it, and I don't. I don't see the need for it. I get your point, Fred, about you want to know how things would go if you were running the show, and I wasn't there to make those dark side decisions. But when I play the game, I play to play with someone, and if I want to do stuff by myself, I'll play something else.
Right, or I won't be in a group. I'll just solo everything. It's like, why be in a group if you can't participate in everything together?
No, I do think it's good for people who play alone. But, if you play alone, going into a phase doesn't matter anyway. If you're on your own, you're on your own.
Right.
But, I mean, for people who play alone, I think the whole, personal flashpoint thing is a good idea. it gives the people a chance who may not have a lot of friends in the game or a lot of time to look for a group, or even the patience to use the group finder to get through some content on their own. That's nice, but that's not my situation, so that's why I don't like it. But you have the choice.
True. And that's what's sad about those solo flashpoints is, by all accounts, they did a good job with them, and you don't get a whole heck of a lot of loot out of them. You might get some credits, but not a lot of loot. And they only make it so you can do it one time. You can't go back there just to re-see the story. And it seems like they spent development time to make that just for it to be a one-off.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of sucks.
I feel like they put resources into things when I don't want to say they should have done this, they should have done that. Should is, subjective. Everyone can say what somebody should be doing. Seems like they put a lot of resources into things that people are kind of scratching their heads about when we've expected them to continue to do things the way they always have. That's why we're still here. And, you can't expect them to do the same thing forever, otherwise the game gets boring, but there are certain things that make the game what it is, and that's why people play it. And to strip it or to change it so much that it doesn't feel the same anymore, it's not good.
I agree.
And the personal Flashpoint thing, I say, okay, yeah, it's good for those people who don't have, maybe friends, or they don't have a lot of time or the patience to do group finder. Well, you only get to do it one time that way. So it's really not that beneficial. You got to make it through the content, that's great. You want to do it for gear or do it for the social points, companion, whatever, you're going to have to look for the group finder then.
And it's not like it's that hard. It's a tactical. It's pretty much as soon as you queue, you get a pop.
Yep. So it just...
Well, that's our experience when we queued up to do it, because we did it as a group.
Mm-hmm.
Your mileage may vary.
If anything, your personal experience may vary.
Okay, so we have a couple more points to make here real quick. Rishi has 2 zones. There's only one time on the entire planet when you zone to go to another area, which is way better than what McKeb did, where every single one of those little tiny sections of the mesas you had to zone. Nothing's more jarring than when you get on a transport and it flies like 10 feet and then zones and then lands immediately.
Yeah, I think that's a little immersion breaking and kind of annoying too. I like to go the scenic route. Take me the scenic route. I like to see the terrain.
So we happy that they found a way with Rishi to not only make it look better, but only make it take up 2 zones?
Well, when you say it only takes up 2 zones, I don't want anybody to think that it's not huge, because it is.
Oh, it's definitely a full-size planet.
It feels a lot bigger to me than McKeb did. Does that make sense? McKeb was split up into those tiny, tiny little sections, and when you looked at the map, it looked like there was a lot there, but there really wasn't. And there wasn't a lot of places you could go, and, take one wrong step, and you're falling to your death. And
you're walking into packs of mobs and everything else. McKeb was like a little death trap. You were being forced into a cubicle. You only had a little tiny way you could go.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. McKeb, to me, the way to design McKeb is, that to me, McKeb felt completely like this is a theme park MMO. Here are the rails, because we want you to go here, then here, then here, then here, then here. And they left you no leeway, because the way they built the terrain, with the pitfalls, with just the edge of the mesas themselves, to me, when you look at the map of each mesa, when you're actually there, it looks pretty big. But, looks are deceiving with the fact that half that area you're in, you can't access anyway. So it's just there. It's just like having background for the sake of having background, as opposed to Rishi. When you're on Rishi, folks, it's only 2 zones, but you know what? That map is split into several sections to show you how big it is.
Not to mention when you first enter the city, it's several levels. What, like 3?
Yeah, 2, at least 2. And, folks, when we mean zone, meaning, you take that speed or a taxi and you're actually getting that transition screen to another new zone. When you first hit Rishi, you're going to keep going. You're going to see that edge of the map. You're going to see that little green arrow saying, keep going. And you're going to see that several times.
Yeah, to clarify, we're not talking about like quest hubs. We mean actual zones where like the screen actually goes black, you hear a generic little ship noise, and you're in another area, like loading between. And that the only time that happens on Rishi is when you're going to the upper left-hand corner of the map. Everything else is just connected. You just fly there fluidly, and it was nice. It actually felt more like one of the vanilla planets. McKeb is miserable to do as a non-stealth class.
You got that right.
Yeah. McKeb felt if you were non-stealth, you literally had to fight everything. I mean,
every 5 steps too, because the area was so small. They had to pack as many bad guys in there as they could.
Right, and for me, some parts of McKeb, and even in some parts of the older content, the original content, the leveling content. All right, to be completely cynical, it's like, yeah, here's a BioWare zone for you in SWTOR. Some of the zones they design, yeah, it's a huge sprawling place, but guess what? What's the first thing you see when you first into the building? A pack of 3. All right, what's behind them? 30 feet away, a pack of 3. What's behind them? 30 feet away, a pack of 3. It's like they put trash just for the sake of putting trash in this humongous space just to delay you. They're in their lives, the time sink for the quest. They pack in so much crap in front of you before you can get to the actual quest area, quest item, or quest mob that you need to kill, just to artificially delay you and prolong the experience.
And that's the thing, like, people have actually been complaining about how fast you level up on Rishi, well, in Shadow of Revan altogether, and it's like, do you really want to be delayed by trash and just unnecessary time sinks? I'd rather, I don't want it to go too fast, but I'd rather be able to, if I sit there and play steadily, I'd rather be able to zip through the planetary story, enjoy my time on that planet, and then move on to the next of all my characters that needs to go through there.
Right, or you know what? Give these mobs special properties. That way the fight is still a challenge. You don't have to pack 40 mobs in the zone. Now you can only pack 20, half that. But you know what? They're a lot tougher, or they take strategy to kill. It's like you may face mobs that are, maybe have slightly more force resistance, energy resistance, kinetic resistance. So it takes you longer to fight them because, hey, you know what? You're fighting a guy with a shield. Guess what? If you're energy based, yeah, it's going to take you a while to kill that mob because guess what? He's got a shield. Just like in the Star Wars movies and the books, yeah, fighting something with a shield, it takes a while to kill them because you got to break the shield down first, then hit them. Or if you're a force user fighting another force user, guess what? That opponent is going to have force resistance. Yeah, you may throw lightning at it, but guess what? They'll take that damage, soak it up.
And then the only way for you to finish them off, you got to be hanging from a ledge.
Right, hanging from a ledge, pulling upon the
and then you just happen to see a blaster on the ground, where you got to shoot them in the midsection several times, and then watch them explode into a fiery blast.
Right, but again, that's the I guess what we're trying to say is the breadth and scope of Rishi in terms of size. It really reflects what I think actually what a planet should feel like. Okay, doesn't have to be a lot of zones, but the way you arrange the map, the way you arrange things, can give that same experience. To where you're actually traveling, you're actually seeing something, and it's not just there. It's not just you can only go 10 feet, and then there's that exhaustion zone or that invisible wall that you can't breach, and everything else is just fluff.
Cliff.
They actually put stuff on Rishi, and you can actually go there. You can actually see it.
There's a lot of different routes too to get to where you want to go. Rather than having these huge walls you can't get around, these fences, or this buildings that you can't even go into. You can go many different directions to get to where you're going. Run into a bunch of different mobs, run into different flora and fauna and all kinds of stuff.
Speaking of places you want to go in Rishi, I would really like them to add a Rishi stronghold.
I think that would be nice.
Yes, it would. I mean, they gave us the gangster style stronghold, so to speak, because we're in Nar Shaddaa. Okay. The Hutts are gangsters. Captain Tanaka would say.
I would have liked it if there would have been some story tied to that, where like you go to a hut and they give you that because you did some kind of favor for them or something. That would have been nice.
Or better if you reach again, because there is faction to build on Rishi. Okay, you just reach a certain level of faction with them, like maybe hero or legend status.
Oh, that'd be nice. You have to actually raise up your reputation with them
and you get a
in
stronghold.
order to buy the stronghold.
Yeah, that would be a nice time. That would be a nice motivator to do dailies.
I think it would be nice. It's definitely a different environment. With Tatooine, you're in the desert, Dromund Kaas, Nar Shaddaa, and Coruscant, you're in the city.
Although Rishi and Rakata Prime feel like the same planet.
Rishi feels like Stranglethorn Vale to me.
Wrong galaxy.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. I'm not the only one that said it, too.
The game that shall not be named.
Although It does have jungles, rivers, dinosaurs.
Tigers and bears, oh my.
There weren't any bears there. And pirates.
That's what those jungle wampas were.
And a dock. With ugly people walking around. It was just like Stranglethorn Vale.
Jungle wampas kind of remind me of my Uncle Mike.
Speaking of beast...
Wow.
Lou and I found the Forge Beast on Rishi.
Yes, the Forge Beast 2.0.
It was one of those situations. I don't know which one of us spotted it, but generally when you're anywhere with me, I'm gonna go, ooh, what's that? And when we go investigate, if we can kill it, I will then say, ooh, let's kill it. And I'm pretty sure that's probably what happened. It looked exactly like that thing under the forge, though, where you make your lightsaber. What is it, on Tython?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, after
exactly
we killed it, we all just like, wow, this looks like the Forge Beast.
It is.
It is the Forge Beast. They just gave it a different skin color.
What are you doing
here? No, it was the
here?
same skin color and everything. I looked at the screenshot when we found that thing. That Forge Beast probably came from Rishi at some point.
Like, what are you doing here? And it's like, well, he's dead. We should have asked and then killed him.
Yeah.
They never explain that. Like, the Jedi Knight, as soon as you make your lightsaber, the damn Forge Beast comes out and tries to, I don't know, just attacks you because you made a lightsaber for no apparent reason.
No, you made a lightsaber!
Well, like, you just went through all this crap with Bengal Moore and all that, and you come back to the Jedi Council. And they're like, oh yeah, Bengal Moore, dark side of the Force, and like your dude at no point goes, man, you know what I just got attacked by?
Yeah. Better hope there are no more of those things out there.
You know what? You guys are sending Padawans out there to make their sabers. They're not coming back. This is why. Stop it. Or you know what? There are plenty of masters here. Send them out there to kill the rest of these things.
Hey, let's find out where they're coming from. Do they have a nest?
Yeah. Playing a Jedi Knight for the very first time back in 2011, and seeing that cutscene for the first time, I was completely floored by going, what the hell is this? What is this? And seeing the Forge Beast come out and attack me, like, how does this factor into the story?
There's Swamp Thing.
And it's never brought up again. It's just
never mentioned at all in the story.
It's like defeat the Forge Beast. As your cutscene ends, it's like defeat the Forge Beast. You're like, oh, what?
As the cutscene is going on, you just see this giant creature crawling out of the rocks. It's like, where the hell did that come from?
Right, and my thing is like, if it's been there and if it's strong on the dark side of the Force, why have none of the Masters ever felt its presence before?
No, nobody said anything about the Force with that thing.
Or better yet, it's like, was this part of it? Is this a final test?
No.
What's going on? Like,
just like there's an earthquake when you make your lightsaber, and this thing just wakes up.
And it woke up. Yeah.
Me hungry. Oh.
But again, I can see, the point brought up, as mentioned before that, maybe the Forge Beast did originate from Rishi. Maybe Rishi is its home planet. But you also remember, too, maybe the Rakata have been everywhere. So maybe way back when, remember the Rakata seeded the planets with their slave races. Okay.
They're going to put out an operation in 3.0 where you're actually going to go underneath the forge on Tython and fight a bunch of Forge Beasts.
And then at the end, the final boss is the Den Mother.
The final boss is Darth Maul, I guess.
God. Is that where he fell?
Yeah.
No. Even better. Since bringing that illusion to the game that shall not be named. You kill the great Den Mother, You take off its head, get to bring it back to the city, to hang it up on the chain.
No, we're not displaying a Forge Beast head on the fleet.
Oh my god, we should totally display a Forge Beast head.
And get the server-wide announcement, oh my god, this guild is conquered!
You should be able to kill it and then have its head mounted in your stronghold like you mounted deer.
The entire Forge Beast in your stronghold. Like I want the living Forge Beast. I want that thing in my stronghold.
Like chained?
Oh, no, wait. I want it unchained. I want it to roam around my stronghold, and when somebody comes to visit me, it just tears them apart.
It's like, you have a lightsaber.
Or something similar to other MMOs, what they've done in the past to reward those guilds or players who have done, raids in their games. They award them a trophy that reflects, this person did, take on, Lord Nagafen.
And somebody's gonna make a comic about that Forge Beast when it comes out, and it's gonna put like a caption of the Forge Beast actually speaking, like, "Hey man, I've been asleep for a really long time. Can you help me get back to my home world of Rishi?"
What year is it?
Why are you hurting me?
Oh, it hurts. I'm gonna bite you back.
No, because you were red to begin with. The moment I saw you.
He was angry. He just woke up.
He was sleepy. Yeah, he was grumpy. He's like, you woke me up.
And so, with that, Paige, what do you have for our Star Wars recommendation of the week?
For the Star Wars recommendation of the week, I'd like to say for those interested in actually getting a look at the recommendation of the week, I will be posting a link with a photo on the Facebook wall after the show is released to iTunes. And this week, I have something from a different website. It is www.80sts.com. And it is a Darth Vader sweater. If you're planning on going to ugly Christmas sweater party this year, oh my god, please wear this. It's Darth Vader. He's in a sleigh that also kind of looks like a ship.
It looks like a TIE Interceptor.
A little bit, yeah. Okay. And the description that that the website gave says, "That's no moon. That's the North Pole. Santa Darth is ready for Christmas on this Darth Vader sleigh ugly faux sweater. Darth Vader is having a busy holiday season. He's already wiped out a Jedi Knight on the Jedi got run over by a reindeer lady's long-sleeve t-shirt, and now he's headed to the Death Star to blow up a planet. No, load his sleigh with toys for all the good little boys and girls." And Jedi got run over by a reindeer lady's long-sleeve t-shirt. I actually looked at that. That's on thinkgeek.com if you guys want to check that one out. It's basically the same type of image, but against a moon. I don't actually see like a Jedi or a reindeer. Ugly Christmas sweater party. Buy that.
The reindeer here are they're actually walkers.
Yes, they are. I forgot to mention that they are walkers.
They're AT-ATs.
Does the one on the end have a red nose on him?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I should say. Yeah.
Rudolph, the AT-AT.
Someone's gonna buy it. Trust me.
I want it for myself.
It'll make money.
Work.
It'll make money. And now this brings us into the intelligence report. And today's topic is going to be Rishi, the planet, not the people. As I like to say, who are the species in your neighborhood? Or a quick little quote. Why you want to live in hot, humid lowlands? Mountains are much better. A Rishi questions non-Rishi settlers' choice of home location. Rishi was a planet located in the Arian sector of the Outer Rim territories, along the Manda Merchant Route. It was also the endpoint of the only well-traveled hyperlane into the Rishi Maze, the Zareka String. Rishi obviously is the homeworld of the Rishi. The Rishi are a winged species who live in nests on the mountains of Rishi. The planet was home as well to a number of fundamentalist followers of the Hekeg religion who colonized the planet. In addition to the lush tropical terrain, Rishi's surface featured mountains, valleys, and swamps. Human and alien colonists lived in deep valleys, while the Rishi lived in the high mountains. Many smugglers used this planet as a base because of the colonists' tolerance. And here comes a brief history. Here's a quick little quote here from moving forward a few thousand years from Clone Captain Rex to Echo, Fives, and Heavy. There's only one target of interest in this sector: Camino. It's the closest thing we clones have to home. Today we fight for more than the Republic. Today we fight for all of our brothers back home. In 60 years before the Battle of Yavin, some 50,000 Hikek followers left the core world of Galant and founded a religious colony on Rishi. However, the group quickly dissolved in a religious schism, with a minority who left the planet and settled another colony on Jeptan. The planet was known for its rich Exonium mines, which the Confederacy of Independent States attempted to pillage during the Clone Wars. This invasion was repulsed by Kit Fisto, his clones, and the native Rishi. During the Clone Wars, there was a small Republic listening post on Rishi's moon. Because of its close proximity to Kamino, Rishi was considered a last defense of the clone-producing planet. This base was used to warn the Republic fleet of any CIS ships entering the area. The base was attacked by the Confederate General Grievous and his forces during the war. The station was destroyed by Clone Trooper 266958 when he sacrificed himself to alert the Republic Navy, forcing the Separatist fleet to retreat. And just as a side note, in case people haven't wondered, when you go there to Rishi, Exonium was a mineral that could be used to produce energy. The planet Rishi was rich in deposits of this mineral. The native Rishi used the mineral in food preparation. More developed cultures used the mineral as a power source for things such as sonic weapons. Now, during the Galactic War, the smuggler Talon Card and his lieutenant Mara Jade had a base here, which became his main base of operations after his base on Mercure was compromised during the Thrawn campaign. The base was quickly abandoned after the bounty hunter Gunnar Groff discovered the presence of Card smugglers on Rishi. And yes, this is a short lore topic because I just wanted to touch base with Rishi since we are experiencing Shadow of Revan. Next episode, we're going to talk about the Rishi people themselves. And as always, I'd like to say thank you to the Wikipedia, StarWars.com, TheForce.net, and other Star Wars lore sites out there for all the information they have put out there for us. Folks, if you enjoy the Star Wars lore as much as I do, please visit these sites, look up your favorite topics, and enjoy.
And that brings us into the community holo feed. First up's the trivia question of the week, where each week we're going to post a trivia question into our YouTube video version of the show. Simply go to StarWarsBeyond.com and we'll link you to the episode. On the episode page, there will be a button you press to see the trivia question of the week. Alternatively, it'll always be after we say our goodbyes. Then shoot us an email with your answer to StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. Include your character name, faction, and the server you play on. If we get more than one correct entry, we'll do a random drawing, and the winner will get a cartel pack. Everyone that answers correctly will be entered into a drawing for a much larger prize, which we're getting very close to doing. You can be entered into the grand prize every time you answer correctly. And we had a winner last week, didn't we, Lou?
Yes, we did. And the lucky winner is Michael T. Okay, plays for the Republic. And just so you folks know, alright, this was the trivia question for, actually, that was on November 17th. We rolled it over for a couple of weeks, and remember, folks, we didn't record last week because we wanted to take a break and explore Shadows of Revan more. So, for those of you who may want to go back and just rehash the question, the answer was the Mandalorians. Okay, the Mandalorians was the answer from the trivia question from the 17th of November.
Okay, congratulations, Michael.
Indeed. And we also had another correct entry by Robbie S., a.k.a. Sibel. So, congrats to you again.
And Robbie
Sibel
also wrote in to say that you are pronouncing his name correctly.
Awesome. Glad for that. I hope I didn't. As always, folks, I'm hoping I'm butchering your character names and such when I'm pronouncing them. So, congratulations again, Michael. Look out for the cartel pack. And, folks, just to make you aware, I'm a week behind, so be on the lookout. It's coming. All your stuff's coming. Just be patient with me.
All right. And, Paige, we had quite a bit of feedback on Facebook this week, didn't we?
I asked one question and people went crazy. I asked how many people leveled. How many people leveled their mains or made a new character altogether? And the answers I got, first we have Eric S. He said, I tried. I got my level 12 Knight to 37 and my 15 Sork to 26 over the holiday weekend. I was very late to the party. Jay Connell said leveled 2 tunes to 55 during 12 times, but I'll admit that I didn't learn how to play them well enough to let them become a main. So the old main will remain my main to 60. Next we have Mark Y. Only started 1 tune during 12 times XP and hit 55 on it. It's a mercenary. Was able to finish my Scoundrel, Assassin, and Juggernaut on Shadowlands. Only taking my main, which is a gunslinger, to 60, and then it will be crafting and augmenting from there for a while. Bart K said leveled 5 new tunes to 55 during the 12 times bonus. After doing the new stuff and seeing how easy it is, I'll be bringing all of my characters to 60. Suzanne E said that she managed to complete the Jedi Knight class story and only got her to level 53. Awesome story. I also started a pureblood Sith warrior and got her to level 55. Loving it. Prefer it to the Jedi Knight. When I got her to level 31, I realized that I only had level 15 mods and was playing her at level. Pretty tough, but I really got to know the class well. Having the healer Quinn, in parentheses, OK Core, puke time, it was a lot easier. Loving the game and love your show. Aw, thanks, Suzanne. Chris S. said got 4 55s. Wait, got 4-50. What are you saying, Chris? You're confusing.
He got 4 55s. 2 were in their 40s.
Okay. All those numbers together confuse me. So he has 4 55s.
Apparently Chris S. hit the lottery.
He has 4 55s, 2 in their 40s, and 2 on another server for when Harbinger goes down. Only
That's
in their
20s. Plans ahead.
Yeah, they're only in their 20s. He said he finished the last 3 class stories and got the Master Artisan title. Nice. Arthur T said leveled. Quick and to the point. I like it. And then Lou, you responded to this, I see.
Mm-hmm.
Said finally got your Imperial and Republic diehard titles thanks to the 12 times XP. Readjusting all those characters with a new discipline system has been occupying most of your time. That was December 4th. We're occupying your time now.
Yes, we're all here.
Imperial occupation. Or the Empire.
Oh, yeah, liar.
Are you okay?
No, Talos. I'm not okay.
All right, thank you for your feedback, everybody. And Lou, what's going on in our SWTOR community?
Here's the latest greatest, folks. These up-to-date podcast episodes. ToroCast, episode 223. Posted it on December 9th, and that's on ToroCast.com. Carillion Run Radio, episode 133, is available at CarillionRun.com since December 2nd. UtiniCast, episode 178, is out and it's available at UtiniCast.com since December 4th. The Unnamed SWTOR Podcast, episode 60, posted on December 8th and can be found at GaddockGaming.com. That's GADDOCK Gaming.com. The SWTOR Escape Podcast, episode 68, is available at NewOverlords.com. That posted on December 10th. Oh, the Public Radio, episode 90, posted on December 9th, and that's available on iTunes. Healing SWTOR, releasing another episode on December 10th, and that's on iTunes. Enmity Podcast, released episode 60 on December 8th, and that's on iTunes as well. The Bad Feeling Podcast, episode 44, posted actually today, December 11th, and it's on iTunes and also at badfeelingpodcast.com. Be warned, folks, this is an explicit podcast.
I do want to say real quick, they put out a clean episode for Thanksgiving, but it was kind of like a joke because they played a whole bunch of their old clips and they just bleeped everything. It was like nonsensical bleep after bleep after bleep. It was great. They probably spent more time editing it than it actually ran for.
Yeah, exactly, those crazy guys. Also, we'd like to say follow Madmar at SWTOR Family for the latest and greatest happenings in the SWTOR community. If you'd like to have your podcast listed on the segment, shoot us an email at StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com.
And now I'm going to tell you how you can get a hold of us. You can find out more about the show at StarWarsBeyond.com. You can like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/StarWarsBeyondPodcast. You can send us an email to StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. You can tweet the show at StarWarsBeyond. You can tweet me at SithLordCorv. You can tweet Lou at GamerGuy11B. And you can tweet Paige at AceOfFiery. And now it's time for our final thoughts.
My final thoughts, as critical as I may be of BioWare, I really love this game, and I don't want it to come across like I'm not happy to be here, because I really do love it.
And same here. All right. We've all said some things, we've all expressed concern over some things with Shadow Revan and with the game, but do not doubt the fact that we love playing this game. I mean, we're still here, we're still doing the show, we're still playing the game. And, I'm looking forward to actually heading out to Yavin 4 on one of my characters and experiencing that content. And once I'm done with that, I'm looking forward to getting all my other characters up to 60 and experiencing it with them. So plenty of good stuff lies ahead, folks.
And I'm going to go ahead and take this opportunity of my final thought to tease a few things. First off, we're working on a special project with some of our fellow NSG pals, and depending on how that turns out, you may or may not get to hear that on our feed eventually. And also, I'm working on something with YouTube that will probably be going up within the next week or two, and then I'll talk about it in a little bit more detail when that actually happens. Beyond the Stars is an independently recorded fan podcast made in association with NSG Productions. And now it's time to say goodnight.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Thank you for being here. Take care. See you all again next time.
Good night, everybody. See you all next week.
You've served your purpose.
Beyond the Stars trivia question for the week of December 11th, 2014. First clue. I once served the light, but during my adventures, it failed me, so I left it behind. Second clue. Others saw me as brash and reckless, driven by my emotions but never ruled by them. The dark never had sway. Third clue. The love of my life tried to kill me twice. The second time would seal her fate and have her fall from the light. Fourth clue. I wandered the galaxy, taking odd jobs here and there to earn a living. Eventually, I made my home where the twilight and shadows ruled under the trees. Fifth clue. Though gifted, powerful, and skilled, I was never formally recognized until late in my life. Who am I? As always, folks, please send us an email with your answer to StarWarsBeyond@gmail.com. Please include your character name, what faction you play for, and what server you're on. Good luck, folks. Looking forward to your answers.